How's everybody doing? We're going to do I'm going to do a little video, I guess, on my thoughts on this Nodus. I bought this Nodus Retrospect about a week and a half ago. I had posted it on in the Facebook group, Independent Watch Aficionados, and I had made mention that I might make a video of it. I don't make videos. I don't do reviews. I leave the stuff like that to Rob and Bruce and guys that do this all the time. But I made mention I might actually kind of give my thoughts on this one. And Bruce and Rob both told me I should. So I've given it a week of wearing this watch about every day. Well, not about every day. I've worn the watch literally every day since I got it. So I'm just going to give you kind of my thoughts on the watch. First of all, the case. The lugs turn down nicely. The case hugs the wrist nicely. There's nice high polishing on the sides. The brushing on the top, as everyone has said. The case work for $400. It's nice. It's done really well. You don't have any chamfered edges or anything, which I wouldn't expect that on this watch. And quite frankly, I don't want it on a diver anyway. This is the first 40 millimeter dive watch that I've ever bought. Most of my divers are 42, 44, 46. I'm tending more toward the 42 and under. Now I'm really liking 40. Just from this watch. So here, like for size, I think Rob did this. Here's let me see if I can get them both in. My SKX, a little bit smaller than my SKX, but I think it looks fine. The SKX doesn't look big. It looks kind of small to me on my wrist, but with the SKX, you have these little short baby lugs too. So I mean that helps. The lugs on this are a little bit longer, 22 millimeters wide. So, I mean, the case design overall, I think it's really nice. I quite like it. I have written down some notes. This is the third video I've done on this because I tend to just ramble when I don't have things written down. The bezel action. I really like a coin edge bezel. I like this one. It's tall enough on the sides. It gives you get a good grip. It's a really good, I guess, as we say in like the firearms community, you have a really good purchase on the bezel. The bezel action, very positive. It's a little, I guess, leans toward maybe the tinny side in sound. It's more of a click than like a thud. That doesn't bother me. I don't really care. But it is absolutely positive. And I mean, once it's engaged to where you want it, it does not move. It lines up perfectly. I wish Seiko could do that. Seiko's only been making watches for, I don't know, a little over 100 years. And they've kind of gone the wayside as far as their quality control when it comes to their like chapter rings. And I'm a Seiko guy. I love Seikos. Some people that are watching this are in my group. I have an SKX Seiko SKX owners group on Facebook. Almost 3,000 members. Love the watch. Love Seikos, but I wish I could get it together a little bit better when it comes to that. And even like this watch, it's got a signed crown. Seiko, I mean, granted, I know we're talking different price points here, but look at your SKXs. There's no signed crown. Generally, it doesn't bother me, but after I got this watch, I'm thinking this watch is $400, and I know the SKX is not a $400 watch. I don't know if this is a $400 watch. To me, it is a $400 watch because it's assembled here, and I mean, these guys are actually checking these watches Their quality control is on point as far as that goes, at least for the example I have. One critique I would give Nodus. I would give Nodus to Nodus. This is my 4-position regulation time card. Now, I know that at nighttime, I throw it on its back. I'm going to gain my 9 seconds. Daytime, my watch is usually in this or this position. I would rather all of these were pluses. I don't like seeing minuses so much. If there was 1 minus and 3 pluses, or if it was 50-50, that'd be one thing. But I always rather my watches run fast over slow. That's just me. I'm sure there's also other people that would agree with that. The movement in this watch is a Seiko NH35, I believe, and I mean it pops. The crown pops right out when you get it off that last thread. It's a very smooth winding watch. I wouldn't say gritty, maybe slightly gritty when you wind it, maybe. But as far as the Seikos that I've had, 6R15s, 4R36, this feels better than those. So I don't know if the guys at Nodus do something to these or what, but it's a good feeling crown. And it goes back in, screws down nice and tight. It doesn't take a lot of cranking to get it down there. You feel it, and it's about a quarter turn, and it's sealed up. So I'm happy with the movement. I'm happy with the accuracy overall. I lose probably 4 seconds a day, maybe 2. It just depends. I haven't watched it that closely. The lume of the watch is another positive to me. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table. I'm just hanging out, and so you can't really do a lume check, I guess. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it. I got this big patio door next to me, but cool thing about the lume, when you get into here and the actual logo and name Nodus, that's loomed. Just a little touch like that, to me, I thought that was really cool. They loomed the logo. There might be other companies that do that. I don't know of any offhand, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. They took like that extra step. The date, I would rather the date wheel was white with black letters for just me being able to see it. I can see the date, I can see it, but I got to look for it. But a white date wheel would not look good with this watch, I don't think. This is the slate gray. They said that the dial, to me, it's a gray, but to me it leans more towards black. Another thing I really like about the watch, the sandwich dial. I have always been an applied markers individual. I want to watch with applied markers, with the exception of field watches and, like an SKX. Anything other than that, I've always wanted applied markers on. So this watch kind of taught me a little something about me. Let me see if I can get a good angle. Yeah, the 5 o'clock indice, the 10 o'clock indice, you can see that where it goes, where the sandwich comes into play. To me, it gives it a depth that the applied markers don't. The applied markers give more of a pop. This, to me, gives the dial more of a depth. And I really like that, to the point where I think I might prefer a sandwich dial over applied indices on a watch. Once again, I've been collecting, flipping for 20 years, maybe a little bit longer. And this is the first sandwich dial I've ever had, and I prefer the look. I prefer the look of the sandwich dial. Now, the negatives that I have about this watch, those were the positives. The negatives that I have about this watch, Patrick had brought this up in his review. The way the case is designed, aesthetically it bothered Patrick. Aesthetically it does not bother me. From a looks perspective, to me it adds kind of a, I guess it looks somewhat unfinished, but to me it's kind of a retro, it's like a retro cool, and I like it. What I don't like about it is, let me get this apart. So the strap here, it's thin, it's very nice, it feels good. It's not Alpha Shark smooth, but it's close. It doesn't have the refined feel of an Alpha Shark, but as far as the smoothness, it's close. I would like it to be a little more rigid, but that's kind of beside the point right now. When we get this back in view, when we get into here, so let me see if I can grab my SKX one. These are a little bit thicker. I generally wear a 5-ring Zulu. If you guys see my wristwatch check pictures, 99% of the time, it's this Zulu that you'll see, the 5-ring. It'll go, but it's not happy about it. So I would like to see this part of the case back to, I guess, where the lugs are. I would like to see that back here, simply because I can't get the strap I want to wear on it. Nothing wrong with this Zulu, or I'm sorry, this NATO. It's a nice strap. I like it, but I don't like change. My wife complains about that. I like what I like, and this is fine, but I would prefer to be able to put one of my regular Zulus on that I wear. These are nice. Where I will give them credit is the Alpha Shark NATOs that I've tried. I like them. They're very comfortable, but the keepers are, I think, a little too small. I need to fold over, what do I fold over? About that much. Not a bunch. I fold over a little bit. But unlike the Alpha Shark ones, this isn't high enough for me. But that's the strap, not the watch. But yeah, that's my only real complaint. And like I said, again, it's not a design aspect. It's a function thing for me. Design-wise, I think it looks fine. The only other negative I really have is that I can't get this watch on a bracelet. I do wear bracelets from time to time. The reasoning for me with a bracelet like this watch, in person, if you get a chance to grab one of these, with the convex bezel and the double dome sapphire, the dimensions, it's eye-catching. It's an eye-catching watch. For $400, I mean, it's an amazing value, I think. But as highly polished as these sides are, and with the brushing on the top, if you had a nice oyster bracelet, or oyster style, I'll say, you could dress this up. It's not James Bond tuxedo kind of dress it up, I don't think, but you're getting into a tool watch that can play in the dress diver category. So I notice if you guys happen to watch this, if you could kind of maybe do a retrospect 2 per se, and cut this back so I can put whatever strap I want on it, just for me, if you could, that'd be great, and offer it with a bracelet option. I'm going to give this watch a thing. I'll give it an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 maybe, as far as what you're getting for the money. I think it's fantastic. I said, from the design, everything, the 40 millimeter width, it It sits nice on the wrist. It's not overbearing. I like the 22 millimeter lugs because I like a 22 millimeter strap. That's my personal preference. But those are my thoughts. I guess my ramblings on my first ever watch review. I don't know if I'll do any more. I'm sure you guys will be telling me not to. I don't think I'm that good at them. But anyway, those are my thoughts. If you got an extra $400 and you want to pick up a really cool diver, though, I mean, for the money, I would pay $5 for this watch probably. I know there are people that would disagree with that, but this is definitely in my top. I'll put this in my top 3 watches under $1,000 in a dive watch. In my opinion, it's in my top 3. So you guys tell me what you think in the comments, and I'm going to throw it on our watch forum and see what you guys think or have to say about it. Thanks for taking the time.